It's Champions League Matchday 3 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code PLGP to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and the NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne. Today is, couldn't tell you. The problem I've got, did I have to explain this last week, is that my new lock screen is it's got the pitch of Hillsborough in the background. So I'll show you this. So I can't see the date because it's hidden behind that really light bit where the white writing is. So I have to open it to find out that it is Monday, the 21st of October, which is covering Shola's Apple. We are here to talk about the Premier League action that finished about an hour and a quarter ago and look at the Champions League Matchday 3 picks. Joining us eventually with, as it's already been pointed out, a massive red canister, Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, where have you been? What's happened to your head?
There is nothing different about my head. I think it's just the lighting. I've got a spotlight in my face at the moment. So it's just my normal head. I obviously have different lighting at home.
It might be the T-shirt. It's not a new shirt. I've never seen that before.
Oh, it's a nice bright T-shirt. I'm in holiday mode. I'm wearing my bright colours for my holiday.
Oh, all right.
The first leg of the holiday, I've made the drive up north to Newcastle as we fly out of Newcastle Airport tomorrow afternoon. So, I'm in full-blown holiday mode. Glass of wine on the go.
He's got a glass of red wine as well.
Finished work at lunchtime today. That's me done. I'm off into the sun tomorrow.
Well, that's just lovely for you, Barry. I'm delighted for you. Yes, thank you everyone who's joined us in the chat. But it's the time was a slightly movable feast today, but Barry's been on the train, so you know. Harry was having a go at me on Twitter about the time. Actually, he reckons he needs to get to bed. You could join in. You could catch up tomorrow, Harry. The Backus family. Patrick was on the NFL post game show yesterday with Sean and Ryan. I do believe. Patrick, how you doing? Michael's here. Pete's picks. We'll get to Pete in a minute. Holy shit, we've got a world record attempt on our hands. Callum was first in the chat as well. Decent weekend of picks, Barry, I believe. Started really, really well. And then just tailed off a little bit towards the end. But profit, which was good. I was sitting here bemoaning last week my lack of putting up a winning record. So did it this weekend. Only 5 picks, but plenty of underdogs. And my accumulator hit remarkably bad. Probably I think that's the second time now in 220 episodes. My corned beef by Aka hit, which was the over 2.5 goals at Tottenham, Man United, Wolves, and Liverpool. But Saturday, I really should have gone through the card. I should have hit 7 from 7 on Saturday because I hit 5 from 7. But I should have picked Everton. We kind of knew. I'm not really sure why I didn't. I like them as an underdog play. And then I changed my Newcastle pick, didn't I, from Brighton to win a half, which they duly did at even money. 5 minutes before the show, someone tweeted Alexander Isak was fit. They didn't tell me he was rubbish, or otherwise I wouldn't have changed my pick. So I should have gone 7 from 7, but I didn't. I went through 5. Leicester were a nice price. Actually, this week, Baz, do you know what the difference was? The red cards and penalties went my way. All went my way. Because for weeks, red cards and penalties have been my enemy. Leicester was a nice price, but it was a red card and a penalty. They got me there. Tottenham goals was an absolute giveaway. Man United, I did say someone would win 2-1. Suspected it would be them, and it was. Villa as an underdog was a lovely bet. What a price that was in hindsight. We did say in hindsight, 9-5's giant for Aston Villa. But penalty again. Pereira minced one at the goalie. And Bournemouth Arsenal under 2.5 goals, where I think the red card again played into my favour. So worked out. Downhill from there. City couldn't cover the handicap. God knows how. Wolves had 4 touches in the Manchester City penalty area in the entire game. They just absolutely parked the bus. They were totally terrible. And then Chelsea slightly let me down. I was a bit disappointed with them. But I watched, they do the old Monday Night Football thing, and they have a good analysis of stuff for an hour before the game. Jamie Carragher did a whole thing on how good Chelsea were and how really impressive they were yesterday. And I wasn't sure. So maybe I've got it wrong. It left me scratching my head a little bit. Harry can shed a bit of light on that. I don't know if Chelsea were good or not. And then tonight, the 1-1 draw of the week finished 1-0. Could easily have finished 0-0. The keeper threw one in. But I think Forest were probably good value for the win, as it happens. It wasn't a very exciting game. But yeah, nearly there. So yeah, that was my weekend, Baz. You?
Yeah, I mean, I finished stronger than you. I had a solid weekend. Profit, like you say. I think I had 6 winners from the 10. Probably returned 15 units, roughly, from, level stakes. Like you said Spurs goals was easy. I took Spurs corners. That was even easier.
Oh, shit, that was remarkable, yeah.
We needed 8 Spurs corners. I reckon it took 25 minutes. They finished with 13 corners. That should have been the ladder this weekend. Unfortunately, It wasn't the ladder. The team totals went really well for me because I liked Villa. I thought Villa were a great price, and as a result, their team total was good. Villa to score 2 or more. Everton was another one. Everton to score 2 or more team total hit for me as well. Leicester, like you, we thought were a good price as an underdog. 2-1 makes it a nice little winner. They're helped out, as you say, by that red card. So I got 4 from 7 on the Saturday. My lock was Man City to score both halves. So a little bit fortuitous with a late one from Man City. But it once again. And then I finished tonight with the easiest under 2.5 goals you could ever hope for. I mean, I called it bang on. I said it had unders written all over it. It was a short price tonight, to be fair. But it had unders written all over it and proved to be the case. I think one thing we're not talking about enough on this show at the moment, Malcolm, is my unbeaten record of Premier League locks, which are now 8 from 8. And I just don't think I'm getting enough credit. I'm almost getting a little bit. I feel like we need more reviews or something like that, Malcolm. And if not, I'm not going to give out my locks anymore.
I know what you're doing here, Barry. You're doing a bit, and it's quite good, but it's also controversial.
But my locks, 8 from 8, Malcolm. We've never done locks. And
very good, Barry.
I think it was.
Is it Frank?
Frank. It was Frank who said we need to start giving out our bet of the week. So we started that in week 1, and I've hit every week. I mean, given at least 3 of those 8 have been Man City to score both halves.
Yes,
so pick is a winning pick. It's coming in at a decent price every week. So yeah, keep a listen out for the lock later in the week because the Premier League locks are on fire.
You've got a long way to go, Baz, because there is a show on this network that hasn't given out a losing pick since midway through the Spanish Civil War. So if you once you've got to 120 years or so, then come back and you can flex. Someone who can flex, and we're talking about the Manchester City late goal, is the listener streaks section. Pete's picks. Pete is in the chat somewhere. Pete is on a streak of 2. It's a world record. The Jurgen Klopp Lounge has not got a new member in there. Everyone's just in there enjoying their frazzles and their Kit Kats. Pete, the only thing with Pete is Pete's got an asterisk. Asterix? What is it? Is it an X or an SK? Asterix?
X. I think it's an X, isn't it? An X.
Asterisk. The goal, wasn't he? That fat bloke with blue and white stripy pants. His Sunday pick was controversial. But I think in a moment of weakness, I agree.
His Saturday was controversial as well because he had a non-runner was his first pick for a start. Bentancur didn't play, and then he tweeted us a pick for the 3:00 games on Saturday that neither of us picked up on, and that was a loser. So had we have seen that, he would have been in the 0 lounge streak had we have seen his pick. So a very controversial start because then he started Sunday with not 1 pick, but 2 picks from 2 separate games. and that's controversial. That's against the spirit of listener streaks. However, tonight he did pull up a nice 6-4 winner, same game parlay.
Yeah.
So it was 2 picks, but it's from the same game. That counts. I'll give him that one.
Don't, Barry. I mean, we'll talk about asterisks. I think that's 3 asterisks then, because that pick was, the first one was dodgy. Andy gave us a loser. And tonight he said, if I'm not allowed that pick, just put me down for both teams to score. So he actually, there was a safety net loser in there as well.
A lot of ways Pete could have lost his streak, but he's put 2 winners out that we have shared. So Pete is on a streak of 2, and let's see what he can come up with tomorrow. 1 pick, 1 game. It can be a same game parlay. That's fine.
Tomorrow.
1 game.
Yeah, Pete's living a charmed life with the old picks, but he has made it to 2. And tonight was lovely. It was 6-4.
That was nice,
lovely. Yeah. And by the way, it didn't just cash. If he'd ladded them, it was Chris Wood shots over 1.5. He had about 49. Into his Eberucci Eze shots over 2.5, and he had about 49. So we could have ladded that up to about a gazillion to 1. Yeah, so credit where it's due, Pete. We'll do a little bit of eye catchers, Baz, before we crack on with the Premier League stuff. I'm going to tell you first about what should we talk about? The NBA season kicking off. You can win a gift card at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA contest. And today, before the season starts, and go and rate and review all the other shows here on the network on Spotify. Only you can prevent corporate gambling from taking over. Corporate gambling didn't do very well at the weekend. Callum's already mentioned that Bet365 went down and everyone's bets went tits up for a portion of Saturday afternoon, which is not ideal. Underdog Pick'em has got one of the biggest menus for all sports: NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR. Boostober, it's back again, Baz. Boostober is upon us, which means you get the spooky amount of profit boosts and much more. Specials and boosts on flex entries. Our code to sign up is PLGP. Claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code PLGP. Eye catchers. I wrote down Arsenal. Has anybody mentioned in the last couple of weeks, Barry, that the lack of discipline would end up costing them? Yes, me, at great length. And sure enough, Arsenal's lack of discipline cost them. It was also very funny. Ipswich, shite. Southampton, shite. Newcastle, I didn't like your pick at all, Barry, of goals, because Newcastle can't score any. And that's exactly what happened. The game turned on its head in 2 one-on-ones. Literally, Brighton hadn't had a touch of the ball inside our penalty area for 34 minutes. Isak goes 1-on-1 and misses. Welbeck goes 1-on-1 and scores. And that was it. I don't think Brighton were very good. But Newcastle can't score, and it's a worry. Gordon went clean through and never looked like scoring. No point did I think he was going to score. West Ham, shite. Still kind of like my Lopetegui pick to get the 9-10 Jack first, because Ten Hag won and they seem not to want to sack him. The other one who might be in the chair is Crystal Palace, because they were poor tonight. As straightforward as it sounds, Crystal Palace have got 2 good players, and if they don't do anything, the rest of them aren't good enough to. They're good enough to maybe hold the framework in place to provide the platform for a win, but that's it. That's really fine margins with Crystal Palace at the moment. Tottenham, the only thing caught me out with Tottenham was old James Maddison going off at half-time when they weren't winning, and then within 10 minutes, they'd absolutely spanked West Ham. So I just enjoyed that, because I find James Maddison to be slightly odious. He might be a very nice fella. I've never met him. And I think there was loads of teams. The other thing I wrote down is there was loads of teams we didn't learn anything about at the weekend. Tottenham, Everton, Man United, we didn't learn much about. Brentford, West Ham. There's quite a lot of things went to form or went to the form that I've got them in, which is why I picked some winners. So when that happens, you didn't really learn too much. So yeah, that was kind of my reading of it. Baz, you?
Yeah, I mean, start with Newcastle. You don't like my pick because Newcastle can't score goals, but you still took Newcastle to win, which is a problem. Back in a team that can't score goals. But I was purely on the Brighton side of it, where they had both goals at both ends of the pitch. leading up to it. I thought Newcastle played some really nice football at times in the build-up, but as you say, that final third at the moment, something isn't clicking, and it's not a problem we've had in the whole time under Eddie Howe. We've never struggled to score goals. And I'd seen something on Twitter the other day, someone saying it's a bit of a concern because we've always at one point or another either been really good at scoring goals or really good at keeping them out. And at the minute, we're not really much of anything. We don't get many clean sheets, and we're not struggling to score. You mentioned Gordon, but Isak was just as bad, really. Just looks short of confidence. They don't look like they fancy themselves to score at the moment. Everything was straight at the keeper. Never really challenged him. And as I say, general play, Newcastle played very well, I thought, in the build-up. And it was really a smash and grab from Brighton. No complaints because we didn't do what we needed to do. I've wrote down in my notes here, Arsenal's ill discipline. You've absolutely nailed it for weeks now, saying, it could be costly. And already 7 points gone from 3 games where they've had a red card. I've seen a lot of people arguing it wasn't a red card. I think it was a red. I don't think you can have any complaints about it, really. I thought it was the right decision. And Arteta, to be fair, didn't really moan about it too much. I think he's toned it down a little bit now because he's on a bit of a knife edge with the FA. But he said himself, it's got to stop in it. You can't keep picking up red cards every week. But to be honest, Mal, Arsenal didn't look very good before the red card anyway. Arsenal were poor. And I think we've mentioned before, Arsenal last season were very fortunate. They didn't pick up many injuries. They managed to keep that back four together throughout. They played Saka, Odegaard, Rice all season long. And then this week, no Odegaard, no Saka. And it's a big hole to fill. Like they haven't got the ready-made replacements to come in because Gabriel Jesus doesn't do much. And it was a bit strange. I thought they started Partey, Rice, and Marino, which just seemed very negative in a game against
4 centre-backs and 3 central midfielders. And then at some point, someone was going to work out how to stop them scoring set pieces. It's not fuck. They got 7 defenders and 1 plan from a corner. Well, that's not good enough.
So the red card obviously played its part. Otherwise, Arsenal would have probably held on till 80 minutes and then nicked one later on. But yeah, I didn't think Arsenal were great anyway. They'll probably, they're close to getting back. Odegaard and Saka should be back probably by the weekend as well. So, but obviously tough games coming up now. So yeah, big blow for them to lose that one. The other things for me was the City goal. I know you've been all over Twitter on it. You were furious with all of the analysis of that because it's just a goal, isn't it? Everyone's looking at it saying he's on the keeper. He is, but he's not offside at that point. And by the time he is onside, he's not interfering with the keeper at all. And I've seen some people saying, well, why wasn't it just a foul on the keeper? That's not a foul. That absolutely no way there was a foul. If he's in front of the keeper there, when the header comes in, then he's offside because he's interfering with play. But it's not a foul from the corner. It's not a foul on the keeper as the corner comes in. And as I say, at no point is he offside until Stones heads the ball, by which time he's 2 yards to the right of the keeper and he's not interfering. Doesn't matter what happened before that, unless it was a foul, which it wasn't. It was just a goal. And again, City did get let off the hook a little bit with a late one. But there was nothing wrong with the decision. I think they got it bang on.
Yeah, agree with all of that, Barry. I got I had to have a word with myself about the social media thing. Because I was just sitting, like I told you, the IT department was away this weekend. So I've sat in that corner for about 70. I've not moved, Baz. I've barely moved. Very sedentary. When you get the warning that comes up on the telly, saying it's going to turn itself off in 5 minutes. I've seen that about 9 times this weekend. Like, if the telly's like, are you sure you still want me on? I'm like, yeah, I've got another. I can watch another hour's NFL here. So, and obviously when you're doing that, I'm also just doom scrolling the whole time. But I had to give me head a wobble just because. And do you know why as well? You know my mate Holmesy. Holmesy has no involvement in social media at all. In fact, he never even texts or WhatsApps you back. It's impossible. But where everyone's getting head up about the Arsenal red card, people kicking the ball away, the PGMOL, the inconsistencies. Holmesy would have no knowledge of that because he doesn't see it. He watches the scores come in. He's 1928. He listen to the scores come in on the wireless, and he might watch Match of the Day. And if you see him on a Saturday, you say, "Oh, Man City are playing well." I say Arsenal had a man sent off, but not involved. So the only people who are involved in the whinging in the morning, the people who want to be. And I was sitting, like Callum's already said, that I've just called 1,000 people a tit on Twitter all weekend. And I need to stop because that's not the real world, Barry. It's just how society is. Everything's a conspiracy theory, not just football. And because I said it before, our show page gets all different fans on there. They're all being conspired against, and it's just a load of rubbish. So you don't have to take note. My message to you people is you don't have to take any notice of that. It's not real. So if you don't want to, just don't look at it. Spend some time with your family, do something else. What are you going to say, Baz?
But do tune into YouTube for the Premier League Gambling Podcast, of course.
Oh, yeah, do that.
Which game was it where there was a conspiracy? It might have been the Arsenal game. Howard Webb was in the stands and he was on the phone at some point during the game. Arsenal, said people reckon he was phoning in decisions from the stands. Absolutely ridiculous. As if he's on the phone to the referee at the time saying, "Yeah, you've got to send him off for that. I can see from here he's denied a goal score opportunity." Another red card we haven't mentioned was Mohamed Kudus, who somehow conspired to commit 4 red card offences and still get just a yellow card.
What the referee was thinking.
I mean, he kicked him on the floor 3 times. He then pushes somebody in the face. The Richarlison one was just Richarlison being a tit. But then he shoved another 2 people in the face as well. There was easily 3 red cards minimum. 3 red card offences equals 1 yellow, apparently. But they got there in the end, and he did get his red card.
Yeah, so that Howard Webb thing is the perfect example of something Holmesy wouldn't know nothing about. What you're talking about, he just wouldn't know. He knows Arsenal got beat. That's it. And that's all you need to know. So, yeah, if you don't want to get involved in that, don't get involved in that. If I was going to conspire, if I was in charge, I was going to conspire against the team, I'd do it somewhere different. I'd go and sit in the shed or something. Do you know what I mean? Where no one's watching, where all the telecameras are on pointing. That's where I'd be. My shed's out there. I don't know why I pointed that way. Yeah, go and just sit somewhere else. Hide. That's what I'd do. Put a tea towel over your head. Anything like that. That'll do. Michael Roberts wants to know what price Iliman Ndiaye is for the Ballon d'Or winner. He had a good song, didn't he, at the weekend, I think. I enjoyed the Ndiaye song, but he's been in good form, Michael. Yes. Up the Toffees. Get your 50 pence worth, Michael, because the Toffees did indeed win a game. Should have backed them, That was a frustration at the weekend. 2-1 for them to beat Ipswich, who can't beat anyone in a rubbish. When I've been on Everton all season as well, yeah. I annoyed myself there.
Yeah, I mean, I took a little bit of a lower price. I bottled it a little bit. I fancied Everton, but I took the team total 11-8.
Yeah.
Still a nice price winner, but I just took the insurance where really 2-1 was the pick.
Yep. Right, Champions League. Nowadays, you load up the Champions League page for a midweek, and it's massive, isn't it? Normally, you're used to a sort of a little one. It's a proper big sort of scroller. There's tons of games to choose from. Actually, Barry,
but you look at it, Malcolm, and we've got no form. We haven't got the form of 2 of these teams have already played the other 2 teams.
Yeah, they played them and they played
now
them.
Looking at, they're just comparing apples with oranges all the way through this tournament. What a silly format. I don't like it. But I've only got 3 picks. I think you've got 5.
I have, yeah.
I've skipped Tuesday night. I've gone straight to Wednesday. Give the listeners a chance to pick mine because they'll be good. And also because I'll be high up in the sky as all of this is happening tomorrow evening. So I won't catch any of the Tuesday night stuff.
You should have got into the African Champions League, Baz. Is that not on this week?
Did we not get involved in the...
They're not playing again.
Remember last year it was the Pharaohs against the... Oh, there was a couple of Egyptian teams. Pyramids FC against... There was something about the Pharaoh or something.
I don't know. I like Arab Contractors are my favourite Egyptian Premier League team. Right, we'll get stuck in anyway. BetUS, best in the business. been around for over 30 years. You can deposit using crypto. Your payouts are fast as snakes. US players are always welcome. Sign up and deposit $100, and you've got a chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. Use our link to sign up. Get 125% deposit on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGPN, so they know that we sent you. And Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner and the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform, builds your custom predictive models. All the sports are on there. You can build your own model. You can use one of the top performing models. The NBA models are now live. Stop saying models. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Okay, so we'll have to go. So we'll try and go mildly chronologically. Without wanting to alarm anyone, I found all this really easy, Barry. I made 5 picks, and I honestly can't see why all 5. So all I would advise people is just get them in a 5-timer. Just no pissing about. A straight up 5-fold acca in and out this week.
Have you priced it up?
You what, mate?
Have you priced up this 5-fold acca?
No, I haven't. I won't do everything. I'm not your man. Just get on it. It's fine. Aston Villa taking on Bologna. Aston Villa are 3-5, -166. The draw is 16-5 +320. And Bologna are 21-4. In fact, line movement report, they've drifted out to 9-2, Bologna, on the slide a little bit. Aston Villa have settled in quite well in the Premier League, going along okay. And they've had 2 wins in the Champions League. They obviously beat Young Boys, who we did say were like Middlesbrough, and notably had the big win against Bayern, 1-0. I think there has to be some slip-ups, though, Baz, along the way, or a couple of little down points, and I think this is one of them. And I'm very conscious of the comparison to Newcastle last year, where we went away, started okay, then got the huge home win against PSG. Then it just dropped off a little bit. Bologna's record is really weird, Barry. They're 13th in Serie A, but they've won 1, lost 1, and drawn 6. All 3 away games in the league, they've scored 2 goals. The Champions League, they drew with Shakhtar, and they lost at Liverpool. But I watched that game. They played well at Liverpool. For a big part of the middle of that game, they were the better team. And it was quite remarkable how they didn't score, actually. I'm not brave enough to pick them to win because they haven't been winning. Like I just said, they've drawn 6 of the 8 games. But Bologna double chance. So Bologna or draw is 13-10, Barry. +130. I think this is the first, just a little bump in the road for Villa.
Yeah, I haven't got any of the Tuesday night games, but this is the stupidity. Is Liverpool have already played Bologna. Aston Villa are now playing Bologna, but Aston Villa aren't going to play Liverpool, are they? So,
no.
How can you compare like for like? Yeah, bollocks to that. Yeah, I haven't got an opinion, but I don't mind your opinion.
Good bollocks to that, says Barry. UEFA.
I might go on to this format after a while. You never know. I think it'll become apparent whether it's a good format when we get to match days 7 and 8, and we'll see how much jeopardy there is for teams just to sort of qualify, not qualifying, and all of that. Because until that point, we don't know. We might get to match day 8 and there'll be absolutely nothing riding on anything. You could just have 8 teams flying away, 8 teams minging about in the middle, and 8 teams at the bottom who are all cut adrift. At which point it's pointless. But yeah,
it's 16 teams mentioned about in the middle, isn't it? I'll tell you what's going to be fun on match day 8 is the old as it stands table. If the time a goal goes in, people are going to be, if you had your little cardboard league ladders out, you'd have arthritis by the time you finish that.
I get a feeling like 7 of those top 8 spots will be wrapped up by the last day. And 6 or 7 of the bottom 8 eliminated spots will be wrapped up. I just get a feeling a lot of it's going to be decided before then. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
You could be wrong, Barry. Time will tell. Okay, I've got another Tuesday night game, 8 o'clock, which is 3 p.m. Eastern. And I've gone to Girona against Slovan Bratislava. Girona 5-1 on -500, 13-2. The draw 10-1, Slovan Bratislava. And the handicapped goals bars here, dead simple. In that, in La Liga, Girona have played 4 home games. There's a 4-0, a 4-1, a 2-1. There is a 0-0 in there. The last Champions League home game, they lost 3-2 against Feyenoord. So tons of goals. But even more so, it's on the other side, Barry, it's Bratislava. They got spanked off Celtic 5-1. You would have thought that was impossible. And then a weakened Man City side beat them 4-0 in Bratislava as well. So that's 3 of the 4 Champions League games for these two teams have gone over 3.5 goals. And that's even money, Barry. So, yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I just looked at it and it screams goals. Girona 3-1, 4-0, 4-1, something like that. Even money over 3.5 goals, but.
Yeah, I did actually pull this game up when I was looking at the Tuesday games. And I seen Girona at 1-5 and thought it was a little bit too short for me to want to get involved in the game. I don't mind your pick at all, though. Slovan Bratislava are really up against it in this tournament. I know Girona are, I think, have struggled a little bit, haven't they, in it so far? But yeah, I don't mind your pick of goals.
Do you think, Barry, I'm watching Made in Chelsea or Uptown Otters?
Uptown Otters.
Fucked it. Made in Chelsea. One to me. Right, we'll crack on to Wednesday, Barry. We'll let you go first, just in case we've made a similar pick. You say things.
Yeah, so first up for me, and hopefully you've got the odds up for Wednesday, because I have not. I've gone for the RB Leipzig versus Liverpool game. So you can fire away with the prices.
Leipzig 3-1. The draw is 14-5 plus 280. Liverpool are 5-6 -120.
Yeah, and I'm in a few of my. I've only got 3 picks, and they are quite short handicaps because I've been doing this in the car on the way up. Not whilst driving, I would add. I was passenger, so it's not all.
You were on the train, you told me.
No, train with missus and 2 kids and 4 suitcases. Are you mad? I'm not a lunatic.
I've misunderstood.
No chance. Yeah, so Leipzig going really well in Bundesliga, top of the league, or joint top with Bayern on 17 points. But they have struggled in this competition so far, albeit with a fairly sort of hard start. They lost 3-2 at home to Juventus, and Juventus had 10 men for a large part of that one. Sure, the last half hour. I think Leipzig were ahead, Juventus come back to win 3-2. And they lost to Atletico as well, 2-1 away from home. Liverpool's form is rock solid. Other than the defeat against Forest, they've won their other 10 games in all competitions, no draws, so 10 wins, 1 defeat. And 7 of those 10 wins have come by a 2-goal margin as well. And I did sort of make a case for fading Liverpool last week. I was prepared to take Chelsea because I thought Chelsea at 4-1 was a very big price. My argument being I didn't think Liverpool had really been tested in the league. But they played Chelsea, and I thought they were worthy winners, to be honest. I know Harry said he thought they were unlucky. And you'd mentioned Jamie Redknapp also thought Chelsea had played well. I thought Liverpool got the right result, really. They were 1 goal better than Chelsea, and Chelsea didn't impress massively. So Liverpool won that one. They deserved to win that one. And they've been in good form in this tournament. 2-goal wins against Bologna and Milan. I think Liverpool are a good price here. Leipzig are a good side, but they've lost their first 2. Liverpool have gone and won their first 2. And Liverpool aren't losing games at the moment. 4-5 Liverpool to beat Leipzig at 4-5 is my pick, yeah.
Okay. I've got the early kick-off here on Wednesday, which is, we're going back to that form line of Celtic. Celtic are travelling to Atalanta in one of the 2 early kick-offs on Wednesday. Atalanta 11-25, -227. The draw 11-4. Celtic are 5-1. And the handicap is goals again, although with a slightly different slant on it. Atalanta beat Shakhtar 3-0. Last time out, Celtic won 5-1, then follows it up with a 7-1 defeat. So 6 goals and 8 goals in Celtic's 2 games. In Italy, Atalanta in the last 6 games, total's been 4-5-5, 2, 6 and 2. They've scored 10 in their last 3 home games. I think there'll be goals, but I also think they'll win. I don't think it's a mismatch on the form line. So the bet is Atalanta to win with over 2 goals is 4-5. That's -125. Or if you're feeling a bit fruity, Atalanta to win with over 3 goals is 9-5, plus 180. Callum's asking about the classic Atalanta to win both halves, which is 24-10, 12-5, plus 240, 12-5, Cal. Atalanta to win both halves there. So yeah, loads of different ways you could dress this up. I think it's the right side. You got to get the right bet. So yeah, Atalanta to win with over 2 goals, Baz, or tag on the over 3. But remember, we're going for the 5 time. Next,
I
what's
like,
your
I like that. Just to go. I mean, I looked again. It was a game I did look after a little bit, and again, it would have been goals for me. I like the bigger price for me. Atalanta and over 3 goals in the game. I think looks good. I do like that. Definitely on the goals.
Right. Okay. You go.
So next up for me is Barcelona v Bayern Munich on the Wednesday night once again. So what prices we got then, Malcolm?
Barcelona 11-8 plus 137. The draw 14-5 plus 280. Bayern 13-8 plus 176. So yeah, nice and tight on the books, Baz.
It is, yeah, and I think the sort of good reasons for it really, because Barcelona, at first glance, you look at Barcelona's form, how they're doing. They're off to a really good start this season, and I expected them to be a little bit shorter. Going very well at the top of leagues, at the top of the league in Spain. They've won 9 of their 10 games. They have lost 1 already in this tournament. They lost 2-1 to Monaco, courtesy of an early red card. I think they were down to 10 men after 10 minutes in that game. So it does skew things a little bit. 11 of their 12 competitive games this season have gone over 2.5 goals. So goals definitely appeals here. And it's not just because of Barcelona. Buying games are also full of goals at the moment, with the exception, obviously, of the Villa game in the last round, where they couldn't score at all. And the reason I think they're a bit closer in the betting here than I thought they would be is the head-to-head record. Bayern have won the last 6 meetings between these 2 games. Now, I know when you're looking at teams from different leagues, that can span quite a distance. In this case, they aren't too far back. 5 of those games are in the last 4 years. So the last 5 games they've played, Bayern Munich have won all of them by an aggregate score of 19-2. That's astonishing. There's 3-0s, 2-0s, 3-0s, and a 7-2 in there. So yeah, easy to see why it's close, because Bayern just seem to have Barca's number if you look at the head-to-head record. But Barca are playing well. I didn't want to pick a side because there wasn't, had I got Bayern at a slightly bigger price, I might have been tempted to go for them. But I think goals, and I like over 3.5 goals. Yeah, I think there'll be a few on either side of it. Over 3.5 goals between Barcelona and Bayern is my pick at 10-11.
Okay, nice, Baz. Jürgen Klopp in the chat. I see what you're doing, Jürgen. Very good. Barry did a little nod towards what you were referencing earlier on as well. Yeah, Barcelona in ridiculous form. 1-9, lost 1 in the league. Beat Sevilla 5-1 at home this week. 20 goals in the last 6 league games they've scored. Champions League, Monaco was a bit of a dodgy one after the red card, but they did beat Young Boys, brackets Middlesbrough 5-0. Munich bullied Zagreb, but lost to Villa. And the suspicion to me remains that they're not just quite top level, Barry. They've drawn 2 of the last 3 home games. I just don't. It was the price. You said you thought Barcelona would be shorter. And really, that's the reason I picked them. I don't know how very often you're going to get Barcelona at home at 11-8. And I think you've got to try and avail yourself of it while possible. So my pick was Barcelona. Harry Kane's been getting loads off the German press for not turning up in these big games. He's a flat track bully. But when he plays someone decent, he's dog shit. So that applies.
I should point out, it was mentioned in the chat earlier on. I can't remember if it was Harry or Michael who mentioned Harry Kane. Michael Roberts said Harry Kane 6-4 to be top scorer in this tournament. He's already 3 ahead of anybody else. 6-4 Harry Kane to be top scorer. Would you have any of that?
Well, yeah, because I haven't seen the rest of the pictures, but they get a couple of games against friggin' the lost city of Atlantis and
This is the
somebody else.
problem.
And
You don't know who they're playing because you don't know what group they're in because they aren't in a group. This is the problem every week. You're looking at it and you've no idea if they've got to play Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Liverpool, or are they going to play all the shite? Nobody knows until you have to dig far too far into it. Fucking stupid tournament.
oh, right, have that. I mean, just off the top of my head, I just Googled it there and the wrong fucking thing come up. Oh, no, hang on. They've got Olympiacos, Munich, Lyon. I don't think this is right.
He plays for Munich.
Zalgiris, it's either the Women's League, the Veterans, Rasta Vector, Anadolu, and Maccabi Tel Aviv and Rostock Seawolves. According to whatever I've just... So that's who they're playing, Barry. I've Googled the wrong thing. So, yeah, you're right. It's impossible to find out, is what we've discovered. Have you got any picks left?
I've definitely got one more pick, yes. Are you done, are you?
Is it Rostock Seawolves? I've got one more.
It's not. I'm going to go first then, Malcolm. I have got the young boys against Inter Milan.
Yes, me too, Barry.
At the Wankdorf Stadium. So you roll out the prices and I'll tell you what the winning pick is.
Young boys, brackets, Middlesbrough are 7-1. The draw is 15-4 plus 375. And Inter Milan are 9-25 minus 277.
Yeah, so young boys at the Wankdorf Stadium, having a bit of a tough season so far. Took them 7 games in the league. And I covered this when they played... Who did they play, Malcolm, where we faded them? It might have been...
They got battered off Villa and they got battered off Barcelona.
I think it was the Villa game, yeah. I think it took Villa in that one to score in both halves. But yeah, it took them 7 games to get their first win in the league. Sitting down in 10th. It's only a 12-team division in Switzerland. Really, really struggling domestically. And they've not had a good start to this, as you've just mentioned. 5-0 away to Barca. 3-0 defeat at home to Villa. And I think that's the one that stands out. Obviously, Barcelona against a lesser side in Europe. That can happen. A home game for young boys against Villa is possibly a good comparison for this one. Inter have just won 4 in a row. Seem to be fine in form. They've lost just once all season as well. Yet to concede a goal in the tournament. They were 4-0 winners against Red Star, who are fellow strugglers along with young boys. And they had a really decent 0-0 against Man City. They could even have nicked that one. I think young boys have already shown that they're just a bit out of their depth in this tournament. I think they'll be out of their depth again here. And much like the 2 games they've played already, they will lose, and they will lose by at least 2 goals. Inter minus 1.5 on the handicap. It's just a smidgen over evens. That's where I've gone. Inter to win by 2 or more against young boys.
Well, Barry, I've got the exact same handicap and the exact same pick. They've totally and utterly overfaced. Inter actually haven't been covering handicaps at home. I did make that assumption, but they've won the last 3 games domestically by 1 goal. A 1-goal win in Serie A is worth a 2 or 3 goal win in the Toblerone League. So Inter minus 1.5, just obvious. And it's even money, Baz. It's plus 103 for our American and Canadian listeners. I think that's a wonderful price. So by all means, fill your boots on that. So that means I haven't got any more picks, Barry, because I got the same as you. So anything else you want to add? I'm trying to work out this 5-timer here, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing in the background.
5-timer. I'm going to give you a little bit of a lifestyle from the weekend.
Oh, go on then, mate. Yeah.
Out in the fields of Nottinghamshire with the football team, the under-15 girls of Binghamtown FC. We had a tough game against top of the league. We knew it was going to be tough. But this is my experience of a referee and a refereeing display. This was astonishing. 12 o'clock kickoff. What time did the referee arrive? 12:20.
12:20, good.
Yeah, 12:20. He walked up, and he wasn't very apologetic. He just thought it was funny and had a little bit of a laugh with a few of their players before he got involved in discussing his late arrival with me. I asked him if he had a flag. Did he have a flag? No.
I don't think he did, Barry.
Didn't have flags, so that was a bad start. It turns out he didn't have a watch either. So he had to track the time, and he didn't have a notepad, so he tracked the time and the score on his phone during the game, constantly with his phone in his hand. I assume he didn't have cards because their centre forward was caught offside at least 37 times in the game. And on 4 occasions, when she got called offside, she absolutely leathered the ball out of play. And not once did he speak to her, not once did he give her a yellow card, because he probably didn't have a card, like he didn't have a watch or a flag. But the worst of it, because he didn't have a watch and he's using his phone, he felt it was all right to like take phone calls during the game. So on 2 occasions during the game, he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm refereeing in the minute, I can't talk." And then one of my players said at one point he didn't tell whoever was on the other end of the phone that he was sorry. He just stood there and had a little bit of conversation. "Yeah, I'll be there at 5 o'clock. I'll see you then. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, where are we going?" Like, literally took a phone call in the middle of the game whilst we're going down there on the attack, and then a flag goes up and he'll just look up from his phone. "Yeah, you're offside." Aye. Absolutely bonkers. This is Sunday morning football for you, isn't it, Malcolm? This is.
Well, did you give him a mark out of 10? Did you put it on the little form? Do you still have to do that?
Yeah, we have to give ratings. However, we had a league appointed referee, and I saw the name of the league appointed referee, and I felt I'm absolutely certain that wasn't the referee we had, because this bloke who turned up didn't have the posh double-barreled. He didn't look like the guy listed on the fixture with the posh double-barreled name. So I emailed the other coach and I said, "Look, was that such and such who was down to referee us? Was that him today?" He said, "No, he cried off in the morning, so I got this guy in." And I suspect he probably wasn't a referee at all. So I did send an email to the league to say, "This is ridiculous. You can't have people turn up." The problem was, it was 20 minutes late, Malcolm, but it was gale force wind and torrential rain. Yeah. So we've got the kids like running around for 50 minutes before a game, trying to keep warm. It was just a bit of a chance. We lost the game, Malcolm. We got hammered. I think we lost 9-4 in the end.
9-4.
That was all right. The same team beat us 10-0 last year. We improved.
Pretty good. Our game against Blythe Spartans got called off because of the old extreme weather warning.
Laughing at the chat. Harry Doherty says maybe he was on the phone to Howard Webb at the time.
Exactly. Conspiracy. Well, we were due to kick 7 bells of shit out of Blythe Spartans and vice versa, playing them 3 consecutive Sundays. But there was a weather warning, so it got called off. And then woke up on Sunday and it was like a summer's day. So no idea what. There was an hour-long programme tonight of Dr. Brian Cox telling you what the weather's like on planets 100 million light years away. Making that up. I'm not buying that. They couldn't get right in Benfield on Sunday. They couldn't tell if it was going to be windy or raining a mile down the road. So how he knows what's going on Neptune B1272 with fucking red rain and bloody acid fucking twisters. Load of bollocks. Right, should we go away, Barry, and let everyone go to bed?
I still just had another little moan about Sunday morning football. I'm having a bit of a crisis. Struggling to get 11 players out every week. I've had to dip into the loan market this week, Malcolm. That's a bit of a first, isn't it? So I've had to dip. We play in the Nottinghamshire Girls League. We're struggling every week. There's girls like coming up with excuses, not able to play. So we had to dip into the market. We had to go to the Lincolnshire League and find a couple of players. Lincolnshire play on a Saturday, you see. We play on a Sunday. So we've now had to sign up 3 emergency players who we can just call up on the odd week where we can't get a team out, and they'll travel across as long as we can give them a lift. Or a shambles. So we're having to cross borders.
One of them a goalie?
No. Why?
You see, Lincolnshire, Barry. What's Lincolnshire famous for? Farming, sausages. Isn't it? Sausages. It's a big farming area. And what have farmers' daughters got? Long arms from carrying buckets. So if you want a goalkeeper, you want to get a goalkeeper from the Lincolnshire League, Barry. That's where you've missed out. Don't get that analysis.
I didn't realise that.
Oh, mate, it's an absolute fact. Next time you see a farmer's daughter, look at her arms like a Sasquatch. Very good. Right then. Good luck with all your picks. 40-1, Barry, my play. 39.91 to 1 is the 5-timer. So I look forward to cashing that at the weekend. And you're going to try and do the show from Egypt this week. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm going to try. We will see how it works out. I suspect it will be Thursday night Premier League show. Probably. Well, actually, we're 2 hours ahead, so I can do it at midnight and you'll be 10 o'clock. So we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go, I can always just record my picks and send them over for you to reel out on the show. We'll find a way. I will not miss a pick on a Premier League game. That is for certain.
We'll find a way, Barry. We'll find a way. Right. Thank you very much. Enjoy your holiday, safe trip, etc.
Yeah, you should expect some exotic shorts, obviously, as well. I'll not the shorts that I'll be wearing on my bottom half, but the YouTube shorts. I'll try and do a few exotic ones. From the sunbed or the pool or the Red Sea or in front of a pyramid or something like that. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Don't forget Pete's picks as well. He's going for a hashtag streak of 3 tomorrow. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see what rubbish he can get. Right. Thanks, everyone who was in the chat. Go to bed. Good luck with all your picks. And we will speak to you probably Thursday. Until then, we'll see you all down the road. Cheers.